Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taryn and you are watching Sow in the City on YouTube. So today I'm going to be doing a quick updated garden tour for you where I basically just show you what my dad and I have done to the garden in order to get ready for fall. But before we get ready to do that, I have to remind you as always to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. I would greatly appreciate it, okay? But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is our sweet potato bed, as you can probably tell. I know I've said this like 3 different times. I still need to cut these vines. I have not forgotten. I really just haven't had time to do that. But now I will have about 3 to 4 weeks of downtime. I'm in between jobs right now, so I will be able to do that now. But these vines are looking very healthy. My dad and I tried to harvest some of these sweet potatoes because it's been just under 4 months. But they were a little small. There are sweet potatoes in here. They're just a little small. So we're gonna give them at least until September 1st and we'll try again. So this right here is just really just a lot of peppers. And when I say peppers, I mean sweet peppers, like bell peppers. Now this right here is supposed to be a butternut squash. As you can see, it's had better days. This is my first time trying to grow butternut squash. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. It did have some blooms on there, but it never got pollinated. So maybe it'll get some more blooms, but I'm just going to let it do what it does. You know, I'm really just experimenting with butternut squash. But these are looking great. These are my bell peppers, as you can see, and look at that. Now I need to cover that with a little baggie. I'll do that tomorrow. But it looks good. Okay, there's another one right there. This one might need to come off. It looks like it's trying to change colors or something. But they're all looking really good. These bell peppers, I'm very happy about them. Good. Okay, now this bed, I'm not gonna lift this up to show you because my dad did a good job of covering this. But in this bed, my dad completely amended the soil, which basically means you treat the soil and make sure that it has all the nutrients it needs for the next growing season. And I already did a video about that. I'll include a link in the I'll include a link to the previous video discussing amending the soil in this video. But this bed was planted with turnip greens and mustard greens, and every single thing has germinated, all of the seeds. And I kind of knew that they would germinate because my dad always plants the seeds at the perfect depth. Sometimes I plant them a little too low, a little too deep, so they don't always germinate. But he did a great job. So this is mustard and turnips, and I'm just really excited because those are the best greens. Like, my family loves that combination. So we'll come over here. And honestly, I'm looking, I think I see like 2 or 3 things that have germinated in here. You really can't see. I'll have to do close-ups on that I'll show on top of this clip, but there's like 2 or 3 things that germinated in here. But this bed was planted with mostly root veggies, so beets and carrots and stuff like that. We had to come up with what we wanted to put in this particular bed because the way that the sun sets and the way that the sun rises during the fall and winter, it kind of doesn't allow for this bed to get as much sunlight during the day as the other beds. So we're going to experiment and see how this bed does with planting root veggies in there, given the fact that it's mostly a shade. It's more of a shady area during the winter. We're gonna see if it does well. And of course, my dad put these nets over these insect nettings over these 2 beds because as our plants continue to grow, these white cabbage moths, you may see them flying around here now, they will go in or they will try to get in the bed and lay eggs, and those eggs turn into worms that will eat all of your stuff. So those nets help us to keep the butterflies from getting in, okay? So this bed here is just completely empty because the vines and the sweet potato have taken over. So that's that. But these are just some flowers. These flowers are from the summer and they're still doing great. So my dad and I are gonna let them do what they do until they, you know, die off. These are marigolds, my favorite, and those are zinnias on the ground right there. Alright, so coming over here, you can see that we don't have anything covering these two beds. Why? Because nothing has really germinated yet. I mean, there's like one right there. That's a spinach. So, like, there's literally a few things in this bed that have germinated, but not enough for us to put insect netting on top of it. So we're gonna let these seeds germinate, and then we'll cover it. Now, my dad and I looked at the seed packet, and everything basically said give it at least 10 days to germinate. So within 3 days, if this stuff hasn't germinated, I'm gonna let my dad redo the seeds because I clearly messed them up. Okay. This bed I put red cabbage and I put regular white cauliflower in this bed. I grew cabbage in this bed last year and it did well, but I've never grown cauliflower before, so we'll see how that does. And again, nothing has even germinated in this bed. I want to say it's just because we haven't given it enough time. It's been about 7 days, but the packet says up to 10 days. So I'm going to be patient, but something is telling me I just planted the seeds too deep. As I said, I do that sometimes. Alright. So here's the fun part, and I'm being sarcastic. These melons, these are honeydew melons right here. My dad and I thought that they were doing well, and some of them are. Like, as you can see, there's actual honeydew melons on the plant. That's not the problem. The problem is the fact that we've gotten so much rain recently that I haven't been able to stay on top of my treating the plant with organic insecticides like neem oil and diatomaceous earth. And what I believe they're called watermelon beetles have completely taken over this plant. And I mean completely taken over. And these weird looking bugs that look like red ants, they both took over this plant. And as you can see, the plant's like wilting really bad. It's not because it's not getting water, because we watered it yesterday. It's just it's diseased and it's gotten taken over by that nasty watermelon beetle and that red looking ant. And we tried to spray with the neem oil and I think it did okay, but honestly it looks like the damage has already been done. But we're gonna see if these melons can hold off and ripen for us. So like I said, insects, problem with insects. My dad completely covered this with neem oil. Everything is gonna be all good until it rains again, and then we'll have to do this all over again. So we'll just see what happens. You could see that there's a watermelon up there. Excuse me. There's a watermelon right there that my dad put in a little red bag to keep it sturdy. And there's two small ones next to it. You know, we'll see what it does. But yeah. Okay, let's come over here. So this is our peach tree. So we've already gotten our harvest. So these are the kind of trees where you get one harvest a year. We've gotten harvest off of both of them, so they're done for the year. But this one is starting to get leaves that are turning kind of red, and it's probably just because of the change in how we watered it. We got lots of rain for like 4 days straight, and then it just it's been kind of dry. So I'm sure that has something to do with it, but I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Other than that, it's a very healthy plant. This one gave us like maybe almost 20 peaches this year, so this has done great. But like I said, we're done for the season, so we're just gonna let it sit out. And once it starts to get really cold, like around the 30 degrees, we might cover it up every now and then. But they're done. Okay, so these are our tropical plants, and I won't say exactly what everything is, But we have a mix of avocados and citrus like lemon and lime and orange, and we have some apples and plums, all kinds of things. And I have a hibiscus tree back there. So these are all for heat-loving environments. So we didn't get any fruit off of these. They're very new, so that's fine. But once the weather gets the 30s, 40s at night, we'll be moving them permanently into the greenhouse for the rest of the winter season and take them back out for summer. Because these are like heat-loving plants. They need the heat. So we're really just letting them do what they do until the weather changes drastically, and we'll move them into the greenhouse. This is my favorite tree, my hibiscus tree. I love it so much. I'm in love with this. I've made so much tea from this. Like, I love it. My dad has his own hibiscus tree too, and I've made tea for him, and he loves it too. Okay, so these grow bags, literally nothing's in here, but I'm only showing you them because this is where I'm going to plant my onions. I got some onion bulbs the other day, and I'm going to put them in here tomorrow. So that's what this will be. And this is our fence, or it was our fence where we put like lots of tomatoes. Excuse me. We're changing it in between seasons right now. So some of the tomatoes that didn't ever bear fruit, we got rid of them because they're not doing anything for us. But what you see here are what's left of the plants that are trying to bear fruit. Or these plants are bearing fruit for us, so we're going to keep them. Once we harvest what's left, then they're going to go. And once I harvest all of this stuff that gives us fruit, I'm taking all of this out. Like, everything's going to get moved away because I realize that I just don't like how it looks like a little jungle on my fence line. I don't know. I just don't like it. So I would prefer to try and put some flowers or something right here and just make it look real neat and clean, not so bunched up with tomatoes. So everything is going to get taken out once we harvest the tomatoes, and I'm just going to start all over. And of course, I'll keep you updated on that. Okay guys, so this pear tree, oh look, there's a bloom. Wow, there's actually some little blooms on here. I was about to say that this tree ain't done a thing, but now I see a bloom. Well, look at there. Well, what I was going to say before I saw that was this tree has done absolutely nothing this season except for give us one pear that ended up getting rotted out. But I saw those 3 blooms, so maybe it will try and do something. But we'll just have to keep an eye on it because my dad and I just haven't been sure about what to do with this. But we'll see if something comes from that bloom. But over here, now this looks like a complete mess, I understand. But what happened was I put too many plants in here, like maybe 6 or something per bed, and it could really only fit about 2 or 3. So my dad took out all of the like the 3 plants that were in the front row of each bed and cleaned it out. So now you can actually see through here, and you can see all of those little tomatoes that are right there, you know, that I'll harvest later. But it just makes it look more spacious, and I can actually get through here. So what we're going to do with this bed is, once we harvest all of the tomatoes that we're going to get for this season, I'm taking everything out, and I'll either plant some herbs for the next fall season, or I'll put some more cabbage or something, or maybe broccoli, something like that. And this is just some sunflowers. These sunflowers have had quite a long life. They're still here. Some of them are still blooming. So once those die off, then I'll just save the seeds and save the sunflower seeds so that I can have them for next season, okay? But I think that's it. It's getting kind of dark out here and the bugs are trying to come out, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. But I hope you liked it, and if you did enjoy it, don't forget, I know I said this earlier, but I would appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed to this channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.